industry today, you and I walk into a client's place, he's not willing to listen to anything until you talk cost and recovery of cost, meaning investment payback. Wastewater is emerging 38 million to 40 million liters per day, which is about 7.5–8% of daily water being used by urban sector. 8% only. This 38 million is only 38 billion liters. 38 billion liters is only water which is urban wastewater, meaning things that you and I use. Double of that nearly, or 1.5 times that, whatever. There is, for industrial wastewater actually lies around anywhere from 12 to 14%. So if this is 7, that is 14%. If I leave these two out, the rest of it is only agricultural water. Who is providing agricultural water? Nobody. 15% of all irrigation that is done in the country is from dams and such things. Where is the rest of the water coming from? Nobody knows. Does the farmer get at the end of a month salary? No. Is he an entrepreneur? No. Can we survive without farmers? No. Nobody wants to talk about agricultural water anyway. Now, who governs all of this? In the last some 10 days, I have been searching everywhere as to who is giving us any regulations. You'll be shocked to know, not surprised. All of you will be shocked to know, as industry leaders, there is no single regulation anywhere for wastewater. Nothing as regulation. So state PCB has no whatever in this. Central PCB says, we don't know about this. Jal Shakti Ministry says, ye kya hai waise? This is not something that comes to us. Mahua, which means CPHE, this CPHE engineering organization is a thing that comes under Mahua. It is not coming under Jal Shakti Ministry for whatever reason. Then there is the National Building Code. This is what the Part 9 of National Building Code is showing. You can all read it. I just put one screenshot here for you to know that there is absolutely nothing on wastewater. Zero. Absolutely nothing on wastewater here, gentlemen. Shocking to me, right? Now, you all know Part 8, which is to do with HVAC and such things, is undergoing some revision. This Part 9, if you go and look at the link to the National Building Code, seems like it is an afterthought. Somebody forgot, then they said, oh my God, we have forgotten this. And they put it here as Part 9. And if you scroll down on the page, after that is annexures. My God, National Building Code does not have anything on wastewater. This is the manual. There is something called a manual, and look at the date, 1999. Ravalji says 1966 National Building Code has not changed. And that was, well, probably copied or whatever from the UK's system. And a little bit was taken from the American system, both of which are not valuable for us, or relevant for us, let us say. And then this whole thing, in all these conversations we have had, about 300 hours, 400 hours that we have had in the WOW Action Forum, we have all said this is all wrong, please do not do it, except for maybe constructed wetlands, right? Yes. I'm not the expert on this. Ravalji knows about these things, and many of us have spoken about it in the past, and we have heard and learned from many such experts. This is the other thing. No separate regulation guidelines for safe handling, transport, and disposal of wastewater. This is not my words. This is from the CPHE document. This is from the CPHE document. There are no separate regulations, guidelines for safe handling. I was shocked when I read it. Water supply is a state subject. Central government cannot do anything. And of course, there is, you know what happened with the 74th Amendment. And that is nothing has therefore sort of devolved at the city administration level. None of these, look at these. This many laws we have got, none of these address specifics of wastewater treatment. Design principles. There is one line somewhere I found in the design principles of the CPHE on standards on solids-free system. They mentioned it, but interesting that they are mentioned there, that there is something as a solids-free system as a standard. So I thought I'll bring that to your attention. This is all things you know. 1/3 of our cities only have got systems of the kind you and I have got in our homes. 32%, 33% is all that we have as connected STP line. Every 1% out of 3 people in India alone get the privilege of a whatever line of this kind where we can flush things down the tube. Drainage closed system is only half. 18%, 1/5 of our population have no drainage, which we know. This is not about all population. This is only cities. Because the moment we say urban population, you know what happened. This is only cities I'm talking. Urban households I'm talking. State-owned, look at this. This is a mess. Don't talk about STPs, but that the government will do, cities will do, or administration will do. Those fellows want to keep the money. We all know. Ask Mr. Iyengar, he will tell you. Governments do not want the money to be, the solution to be localized, because they will not get to spend another 5,000, 10,000 crores that they will happily spend and knock a bit of it for themselves. Problem is, therefore, this is the big gap that we have. Not even a third of it is treated. Sludge removal handling is the most neglected in STPs. These are not my words. These are words taken from one of these documents. Poor design, poorer maintenance, breakdowns. You know what happens for every wastewater treatment, SBR, MBR, etc. 1 hour in the morning, let us say there is a power shutdown. But by the time the reactor gets to be stabilized, it becomes 3 or 4 p.m. Of course it will stink. Why will it not stink? And then we'll blame that fellow. That poor fellow will be hauled over the coals and said, Abhay, what did you supply to me? I have paid you this much as money. And that poor fellow will come also. He has to make a living. Mode of disposal. Look at this. 118 cities in India, just put it into rivers. Don't bother, boss. Go to Kanpur, for instance. Everything. You go to the tannery areas. There are 3 tannery areas in Kanpur. All of the water goes into Maganga. Discharged into rivers, 44 cities. Coastal cities, 1/4 to 1/3 of the water goes into the sea. And why do they talk about BOD? Rawalji holds his head in despair every time he sees something like this. He says, why are you bothered about BOD? Whether it is in lakes or in wastewater treatment systems. This is the other thing they're giving. Look at this one. There is, in CPHE, there is interestingly this also available. Now, I can't understand how, when you have something like this for treated sewage usage as drinking water, why will this not be promoted? I'm not understanding that. I want to know from some of the distinguished minds that are here, why is this that this is 2012? It's not like this government did not wake up to these things. Singapore introduced it in 2002. Today in Bangalore, I can tell you there are at least 10 people who can do this as solution providers. Why are we then not taking it up? You ask people in companies, they'll tell you, oh, you don't know, I say, we are all doing it. And what do? They used it for chilled water. CPHE also recognizes treated sanitation, post-STP water treated and used for chillers. For water-based chiller plants. Why are we not taking those steps that is already available in the CPHE? They put it 12 years ago, 13 years ago, and we are not doing anything about it. I am done. Thank you so much for listening to me.